Living imperfectly with great delight. That sounds lovely, doesn't it? It's very confronting. It's the imperfectly bit. That's the bit that's challenging. And, second would be great delight. We are not predisposed to be okay with the idea of an imperfect life. If you've ever had a to-do list, you'll know exactly what I'm talking. The first time you hear about a to-do list, you go, oh, this is great. Yeah, I just put everything down on my to-do list and then I tick it off and that's great. And it works for about a week. This is for me anyway. It works great for a week or a month. And then eventually you start to get lag. You start to get, things that, well, I want to remember to do this thing and it gets a bit messy. That's like a 3-week thing. And if I want to get that done in the next 3 weeks, and then your to-do list gets a bit messy and, you have 10 things on it. You only got 9 done. That's okay, I'll transfer it over. But you have 10 more things for tomorrow. So now you have 11 things. And you, again, don't get everything done. So now you've got 2 things. So you transfer 2 things to the next day. And then you've got, 10 more things you want to do. So that's 12 and so on. At some point, the things that you keep pushing forward are very big. And it's demoralizing. You're looking at your to-do list and it was a great, oh, now I'm going to get organized. Now it's like, look at all the stuff I'm not getting done. That's what my to-do list is all about. And then I can remember vividly. I had set up the Australian Institute of Craniosacral and I had, it was a big deal, to get the craniosacral training accredited with the government, and all sorts of things. I had lots of students, and it was a lot, and it was all pretty much, I was doing it on my own for the most part. And certainly at this point that I'm talking about, I was completely on my own with it. And I remember looking at my to-do list and realizing I'm not going to get it all done, ever. I am never going to get everything done on this list that I want to get done. And feeling quite defeated. Feeling like, oh, I think this is the case for life, actually. I think there are things in my life I'm never going to get done. And it's like, oh, I thought I was like super powerful. I thought I was able to do everything. And it's the realization of like, I'm just not going to get all the things done that I want to get done. And that kind of, you're right up against, or I was right up against anyway, the messiness of life. And the realization of like, oh yeah, I'm never going to get all those ducks in a row. Here I am talking about ducks in a row again. I'm just not going to get them all in a row. And then the difficult bit is to stand back from it enough to go, it's not the ducks' problem here. The ducks are not the problem. The problem is, or the thing that's making me unhappy, is the idea I have about the ducks and the way I think they should be. So for me, it was like, just because I can think of all these things that I want to get done, doesn't mean that they are going to get done or they even should get done. They're just ideas. And I've created this idea of myself as this person that can do all this stuff. That's the thing that's making me miserable. It's not the to-do list. It's the idea that I should be getting those things done. And it's the same with in our perfect life, because we have idealized versions of ourselves and how we should be in our life. And that's not to say you sort of try and beat them out of yourself and go, oh, I don't care. We do care. We do care. And we do have this ideal version of ourselves that always says the right thing, that always behaves authentically, that's always loving and kind and noble. And, the reality is we've got unconsciousness. And that's the bit we don't like. That's the bit no, I don't have unconsciousness. I'm perfect. And we are perfect, surrounded by a bit of unconsciousness. Because it's kind of what we're doing here, isn't it? We are becoming more conscious. Unconsciousness is like the raw material of existence, and we spend our lives refining it into consciousness. That's what it looks like to me, anyway. So if we have this idea of this wonderful version of ourselves that never puts a foot wrong, then, and we believe that that's the way we should be, then we're going to be kind of miserable because it never happens like that. So this idea of living an imperfect life, not just living it like, oh, just have to accept that life is imperfect. It's like, no, live it with great delight, to enjoy it. You know, like one of the things I don't understand about myself is I have worked with people for over 30 years. And one of the things I deal with a lot is trauma. Now, trauma on all levels, right? Physical trauma, emotional trauma, even spiritual trauma, but just particularly physical trauma. So I, more than most people, know the, devastating effects that accidents can have in people's bodies, okay? It's not an abstract thing for me. And to help things release, to help trauma patterns release from people's systems, it's not easy, okay? So that's just a bit of context. The bit I don't understand is, I find those fail videos, I think that's what they're called. The sort of videos that people make where they fall off a ladder, like short, small ladder, or they trip over, or if I watch enough of those, I start crying with laughter, okay? Which doesn't make any sense. I should be like, oh my God, oh no, I can't watch this because I know how difficult it's going to be for that person to release that trauma. That's not the effect. I am crying with laughter, okay? It's been like that for years, and I still don't understand why. But I think what's going on is I just love it's just something so endearing about us. We are so goofy. And we do the most ridiculous things, and like me included, okay? And those kind of tripping over kind of things, it just pierces that idea of like, where this idea of the perfect version of us, you can be sure the person who tripped over was kind of didn't want to see themselves doing that, but that's what happened, and that's what happens with us all. And it's like just a little nudge from life going, oh, stop taking yourself so seriously. God, just calm down with the seriousness and just like, it's all a bit silly. And we're a bit silly. I think that's why they make me laugh so much. It's like a little reminder of that. So that kind of speaks to this idea of delight. This delight, living an imperfect life with great delight. It's not to just suffer through the fact that we have an imperfect life, or that we have unconsciousness. It's not to just kind of, oh God, I've got unconsciousness, I'm just going to have to do the best I can with it. It's to enjoy it. It's to look on ourselves with affection, look on ourselves with affection, and look on our unconsciousness with affection, and kind of accept that's part of the deal. It's part of the deal here that we are, we've got unconsciousness. We're going to say stupid things. We're going to say things that we regret. We're going to get together with people that we know we shouldn't get together with. We're going to do all sorts of stupid things. We're going to drink too much, eat too much, crazy things. And not just like silly little things. We're going to do like big things. And maybe we're going to do something catastrophic, And it's like, so what? It's like we are funny little creatures. We're very sweet, and we do ridiculous things, often fueled by our unconsciousness. and to look kindly on ourselves, because the difficult thing, and where it gets really bitey and hurts, is when we can't forgive ourselves and we can't look kindly on our unconsciousness, and we have these deep, deep regrets of we should have done things differently. We should have been a different person, which is crazy because we can't. We cannot be a different person. We can only be who we are. And that's not, that's, you know, I'm not saying that like, oh, that's an ideal, you know, aspire to just accepting that we're just the way we are. It's just, it is a thing, isn't it? We can't be what we're not. And we've got whatever unconsciousness we have. So what are we going to do? Like, you can fight it, you can protest, you can be upset about it. Not going to change a thing. Not going to change a thing. You are still going to be that person. So it seems to me that being kind to yourself and smiling on yourself and being affectionate towards yourself is, isn't that a recipe for a happy life? A happy way of being, where you can be kind and look on yourself affectionately.